Hello, this is Ross Bliley from the podcast Pigskin Tales. This podcast is sponsored by Sterling Soap Company. With products sold throughout 41 locations around the globe, Sterling Soap Company has a unique assortment of products to choose from for your loved one for the holidays. Handmade artisan soaps created by Roderick and Amanda Lovin since 2012, these products are affordable and provide great value. Act now and save on your shipping costs. If you purchase $75 or more, your shipping cost is free in the United States. Shop now online at sterlingsoap.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hi folks, welcome again to another episode of Pro Football in the 1970s. I'm your host, Joe Zagorski, and in this episode we'll be discussing the Dallas Cowboys' best team of the 1970s. Now, were it not for the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Dallas Cowboys would undoubtedly be called the team of the 1970s in the NFL. But despite finishing in second place in that distinction during the 1970s, Dallas nevertheless enjoyed many outstanding seasons. I believe that their best year of that decade was in 1977. It was the season that saw the Cowboys post an impressive 12-2 record en route to a victory in Super Bowl XII. Now, the 1977 Dallas Cowboys benefited from having a pair of Heisman Trophy winners in their offensive backfield. Veteran quarterback Roger Staubach and rookie tailback Tony Dorsett gave the Cowboys an impressive pair of weapons. The Dallas receivers were no slouches either. Wideouts Drew Pearson and Golden Richards combined to catch 65 passes during the 1977 regular season, worth 1,095 yards. Tight end Billy Joe Dupree added another 28 receptions, worth 347 yards. But despite the main element in the Dallas Cowboys' air attack was setback Preston Pearson, who snared 46 passes worth 535 yards coming out of the backfield. Now, Dallas began their 1977 campaign by running off 8 straight wins over some fairly tough opponents at Minnesota in the opening game, at St. Louis in Week 4, and against Washington in Week 5. Dallas would also make mincemeat against lesser opponents, such as the New York Giants, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and the Detroit Lions during the first couple of months of the 1977 season. Now, the Cowboys did sustain a couple of losses that blemished their 1977 record. They were expected to beat the St. Louis Cardinals on a Monday night game at Texas Stadium on November the 14th, 1977. They figured that they had the momentum thanks to the fact that they had defeated St. Louis earlier in the year. But a sweep of the Cardinals did not occur. St. Louis scored a pair of fourth-quarter touchdowns to give Dallas its first loss of the season, 24-17. Then next week, at Pittsburgh, the Steelers dominated the Cowboys in the second half to post a 28-13 victory over Dallas. Fortunately for the Cowboys, they would not taste defeat anymore in 1977 after their loss at Pittsburgh. Dallas regrouped from their 2 untimely losses and rebounded to beat the Redskins, Eagles, 49ers, and Broncos in succession. Their win over Washington on November 27th was especially satisfying because it marked the first time since 1970 that they had managed to sweep the Redskins during the regular season. Their 24-14 victory over Philadelphia on December 4th was also important because it gave them a 10-2 record, which qualified them for the playoffs. On Monday Night Football on December 12th, however, Dallas ran into a buzzsaw at San Francisco. Yes, the Cowboys managed to prevail 42-35, but their defense surrendered the most points that they would give up all season long, and that effectively knocked them out of any talk about Dallas's defense being the greatest of all time. Funny how one bad showing will do that to a defense. The Cowboys closed out their regular season with a 14-6 win at home over the Denver Broncos, the team that they would eventually meet in Super Bowl XII. Dallas rested most of its starting players in the second half of that game, as did Denver. Neither team actually needed to win this end-of-year contest, as both had already secured the top seed in the playoffs for their respective conferences. Speaking of the playoffs, Dallas was running on all cylinders throughout the 1977 postseason. They destroyed the youthful Chicago Bears 37-7. They then defeated Minnesota 23-6 in the NFC Championship game. In Super Bowl XII, Dallas committed plenty of mistakes and turnovers, but the Denver Broncos were guilty of committing more. The Cowboys defeated the Broncos 27-10 and thus won their second Super Bowl in their history. In conclusion, although the Dallas Cowboys had several great seasons in the 1970s, I feel that their 1977 NFL season was the best one of them for the entire decade. Now for the trivia question for this episode. Tony Dorsett led the 1977 Dallas Cowboys in rushing with 1,007 yards, but who finished second on the Cowboys team in rushing yards? Once again, I'd like to thank you for visiting and listening in to our podcast today. And be sure to check out the Sports History Network because they have a lot of different podcasters detailing a lot of different great sports. Thanks a lot for listening in again. I'm Joe Zagorski, your host, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com. Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, aka the Football History Dude, and I hope that you enjoyed this recent episode presented by the Sports History Network and were able to learn some good old-fashioned sports history knowledge nuggets. I started the Sports History Network back in 2020 with the mission to help podcasters find a community of like-minded sports history nerds, as well as helping aspiring podcasters to start their own shows. We have a little bit over 30 shows on the network right now covering all sorts of sports history, but as far as I'm concerned, we're just at the toothpick in the ocean moment, that can't even figure it out because there's so much more coming. We wanted to create the ultimate headquarters for sports yesteryear, starting with Podcast Network and our website, but we're going to continue to move into other mediums as well. And here's the cool part, because we want you to be part of our team. So if you're interested in starting your own podcast, or maybe being a guest on one of our shows, or who knows, maybe even writing an article for us over on the website. Seriously, all you gotta do is reach out to us on the contact page over at sportshistorynetwork.com. You can be as technologically savvy as a Neanderthal tapping on a stone trying to figure out this whole hieroglyphics thing back in the day. Again, it doesn't matter, because even if you don't understand the whole podcast space, we have a production team that can pretty much help you out with doing everything. All you gotta do, head over to sportshistorynetwork.com, head to the contact page, fill it out. That message goes right to me, and I'll reach out to you as soon as I can. But for now, dude, I'm through if you're through.